warm welcome to Noel Gallagher.
Now we got the sound. Noel, welcome. Great to see you here. Great to have you back in the country again.
I bet it is.
It really is. Now, tell me, you guys decided to finally do a movie. Obviously, there were concert films out before on DVD, but this is the first time you actually let someone come on the road with you and make a film with Lord Don't Slow Me Down.
Yeah. Well, the guy, Bailey Walsh, who directed it, he started off to make a video for Let There Be Love. He thought that the stuff that he was shooting was that great that he decided that he would try and convince us to come on the road with us for 9.5 months. I was a bit concerned that, as I put it to him, the years of kissing the sky and drinking champagne out of cowboy boots at 10 o'clock in the morning, kind of all gone. And I was kind of a bit worried that he was trying to make us out to be something that we were not. But he was saying, look, I'll just tell it like it is, and there it is.
What about coming back to the States as far as playing live? I know you're doing a couple shows with Gem around the country this time around. You're doing one in LA, I think.
Well, we've got no plans. But the last time we made any plans, we ballsed it up. It took us, nearly 2 years to make a record. So we've not made it, I mean, there's not any plans to do anything, but by the same rule, there's not any plans not to do anything, do you know what I mean? We're going to kind of doing this little promotional thing, and then there's some acoustic gigs around the world, and pretty much that'll be about it until somebody, I guess, makes the call and says, are you up for it? We have to go and drag Liam down off a chandelier somewhere.
We're going to take some questions now from the audience, actually. Okay, Joe, what's your question for Noel?
I was just wondering, like, what a film, say, documenting like the Be Here Now tour would have been like. How much different would it have been?
You know what? That was the greatest single thing I think I've ever been involved in with the band. It was just, we toured as the biggest band in the world. Anything that you could possibly want, you got 2 of. I'd kind of phone my manager at 5 in the morning from Singapore, and he'd say, what do you want? I'd go, I've just got a whim of some description that I want fulfilled right now.
I had 2 questions, actually. One of them was the Be Here Now question, so I like that album a lot, so I don't know. But anyway.
That's cool, man. Go and buy another copy then. I think that album suffers from one minor thing, that it wasn't Morning Glory. And I think everybody was kind of expecting another Morning Glory. I mean, fucking hell, I was, do you know what I mean? But we were having such a brilliant, brilliant time in the studio that kind of quality control went out the fucking window for a bit. We just sold I don't know how many million albums, and nobody was going to say to me, do you know what means a bit too long at 8.5 minutes? You know what I mean? And I was kind of like, I really don't think it's long enough. I don't know what the opposite of an edit is, but let's start doing that. I kind of threw those lyrics together on holiday, right, in the West Indies. And I know that I didn't spend that much time with the words. It was fucking sunny, man. Do you know what I mean? It was sunny, and it was free booze. What can I say? Yeah. But what I do think about that album is it's an absolute expression of its time. We'd taken whatever we had to its logical conclusion. I mean, the last track is 11 minutes long. It's still going. Somewhere back in England, there's a tape machine in that studio, and it's still fucking going on.
Your songs are always being compared to the Beatles. I wanted to know what you thought your most Beatle-y song would be that you wrote.
Well, that my songs are even compared to the Beatles amazes me, because when we started, everyone said that we sounded like the Beatles, which used to make me laugh my head off, because I would always think, well, wait till people hear it, they're going to think shit, do you know what I mean? But I guess my most Beatlesque moment would be I'm the Walrus. When we done that, it's pretty Beatlesque. We got close there. Or All Around the World maybe is quite Beatlesque. Or see, I think Go Let It Out sounds like a modern day Beatles, but I'm prone to wild, sweeping statements like that now and again. Now being one of those.
Who a bigger inspiration was to your songwriting, another musician or your mum?
As my mum's not here, she's never likely to hear any of this. My mum inspired one line in Live Forever. Not a great deal.
Don't look back in either.
And one line in Don't Look Back in Anger anymore. Does anybody know anymore? I guess the biggest influence on my songwriting would have been the Beatles' Red Album and the Beatles' Blue Album. Which is how I learned to play guitar. I'm not really sure how influences work, you know. I mean, I listen to a lot of Neil Young and Bob Dylan, but my songs don't sound like either of those, so I probably listen to those two more than any other two artists. I don't know, I guess I took, or let's say stole, more from the Beatles than anybody else. And my mum's shit at guitar, and she never taught me anything.
When you write, what's your process? Do you start with chords? Do you start with a melody in your head? Do you go to the guitar, piano?
One day you'll hit a chord, let's say for instance A minor. The saddest of all chords. And it won't mean fuck all. And the next day you'll be in a different headspace, or again something equally as pretentious as that, and it'll just sound completely different. So it all depends, you know. It's usually with chords on the guitar, and then if a first line pops into your head immediately, you know you're probably going to make a fortune very soon.
You've accomplished a lot in your career. A lot of people say it's one of the most successful careers for a rock band of all time. What are you still looking to accomplish, like from now until time you stop playing music?
Well, if you lot in this country buy enough of our records, we'll get a fucking #1 album eventually. But I don't really look at it like that, and I never really did. Accomplishments are kind of things that your record label always yak on about. Fucking, you know, they were constantly phoning us up in the mid-90s, telling you what records you broke, and it's not really about that. You know, I always wanted a record deal because I always thought I was pretty good. After that, everything was a bonus. I don't really look to the future and think, well, I wish we could do that, I wish we could do that, because we've pretty much done everything that there is to do. I just want to kind of grow old disgracefully and see if I can write the perfect song, I guess.
There have been claims from you, or maybe more so your brother, that
Probably more so my brother.
the greatest rock band of our time, or maybe of all time. Why do you think that is, and why do you think, or like, what do you have that other artists or bands don't?
Okay, how all this started back in England when we proclaimed ourselves to be the greatest band in the world. I only go by what's in the top 40, what's in the charts. I'm not interested in things that are supposedly hip or cool to music critics. So when I was saying that I thought I was the greatest thing since Elvis Presley, what I should have been saying was I think I'm the best thing that's in the top 40. And I think anybody that's from England will totally agree with that, particularly at the time. But what we had was pure, and we meant it. And we never wore stage clothes, and there was no stage show to speak of. It was what it was. That sounds shit, I know, and that sounds like really vague, but you'd have to ask the people that kind of kick-started all this back in England. It amazes me sometimes. So I'm not, you tell me.
Stunning good looks.
Yeah, well, kind of goes without saying. Really.
The other question I had was between, you know, a Liam question, which is...
Oh, he's not here though, is he?
At this point, no, I mean, a question about you and Liam. At this point, you know, after watching the movie, it's like you've been asked that a million times, but is the rivalry still going? Is it important to the band? Is it, or have you guys gotten over it now that you're older, you know?
The rivalry.
Yeah.
See, that's interesting. No one's ever used that word before. The rivalry. Me and Liam have always had the same relationship. Now, you or a journalist or anybody else can spin it on any given day, whichever way you want. I know that when me and him used to do interviews, although they used to end up in fights, generally, and all the stuff didn't look good in print, they were actually quite balanced interviews. They actually started off by us being kind of quite genial towards each other. But I understand that that doesn't look good in print, and it's more sensational to write about somebody having someone else up against the wall because they're arguing about who was better, Velvet Underground or the fucking Doors, do you know what I mean? That's more interesting. But our relationship has never changed, you know. It's as good or as bad as it ever was, and I find it fascinating and people find it fascinating. It would be more fascinating to me if I only wrote the music and I relied on Liam to write the words, you know, because then we would rely on each other to kind of create something, which is not the way it is at all. We write separately. So I don't know. was the answer. That's the short answer.
I read recently, and don't quote me, but that they said that, or that you said that the only reason you're still in Oasis is because of the money. So, how much would I have to pay you to sing "The Girl in the Dirty Shirt" and or Digsy's Dinner?
What now? Now? Don't know. How much do I charge for performances, Marcus? Don't know. It's not, well, are you being serious? It's not gonna happen. No. No. Well, I love Dixie's Dinner, but there you go.
You played with Paul Weller the other night, which is great. I mean, it's cool
Yeah.
to have I've done a lot of stuff together. He was on Talk Tonight with you, which is another one of your beautiful songs. And then you played, tell us about that moment with Paul. It's really cool.
We played in London on Thursday night for a charity. Get on the irony of this. A charity for a drug rehab centre. I found it very fucking funny when I was there. So I said, yes, of course I'll do it. And Weller got up and done Thick as Thieves by the Jam, which I thought was a very strange choice until I was kind of sat at home trying to work out on the guitar. And I showed the lyrics to my girlfriend, who looked at me and went, oh, ain't he sweet? Obviously that's lost on you lot, but it's a song about, it's a song about friendship.
It's about friendship things.
And I didn't get that. And obviously he was sending me subliminal messages through his music that he fucking loves me.
Yeah, absolutely. He does. And Setting the Sun's a great album. Noel, thank you so much for coming.
Really